Many thanks indeed for staying with us here on the Morning Brief. Let's head to that conversation now, because the last 48 hours, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway has gotten all of the attention, but for wrong reasons. Accidents, multiple trucks ramping into one another. We were joined this hour by the Controller Lagos Roads, Ministry of Works, Engineer Olukorede Keisha, who joins us live on the program. Now, Engineer Korede, thank you indeed, as always, for agreeing to talk to us on the program. For many motorists who ply this particular highway, the observation is that somewhere on the Kara Bridge, some of the hinges have given way. I also ply the Long Bridge as well. We also have some sections of the Long Bridge as well, where the hinges too have also given way. And for many Nigerians, it's the fact that you only worked on these roads barely 2 years ago, or did some sort of maintenance as well, barely a year ago or two. Why are we back to, where we left off just a few years ago?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Engineer Korede. Go ahead, man.
I think on that bridge, that's the main Kata Bridge, main Long Bridge on Lagos-Ibadan Highway, we did a lot of joints there. Almost, how many joints? And we have 2 that are defective at the moment. So after 2 years of serious abuse on the highway, I don't think we have a major issue here. Some of these defects are due to maybe human abuse too. Because we just suddenly discovered that there is a hole on that bridge around one of the expansion joints. So it could be due to abuse. Severally, we've caught people there trying to vandalize that public infrastructure. So many times that has happened. So we can't take abuse of that infrastructure out of the present state of the bridge at the moment.
Engineer Keisha, your principal, the Minister of Works, Engineer Dave Umahi, he was praised and has been praised for doing a fantastic job on the 3rd mainland bridge, installing even CCTVs there to ensure that we do not see these vandalism. So is it not a question of doing the same for the Kara Bridge as well as Long Bridge as well, to ensure that we can have some sort of security for this infrastructure?
There is room for expansion. We're trying to extend that to all the bridges and public infrastructure. But you will agree with me that it's a very difficult task. But it is not one that is unsurmountable. Even on 3rd Mainland Bridge, do you know what we go through every day? Vandalism, theft. All the cables are being vandalized almost on a daily basis. And we're struggling every day to make sure that we restore, so that visibility can be restored to the control room. So it's a lot of issues. As much as government is trying its best, and the police people, all the security agencies saddled with that responsibility they are cooperating with us. But a lot still to be done in the area of advocacy. The citizens must know that this infrastructure belongs to all of us. And so any abuse must be resisted and rejected by the public, even before the police gets there.
You seem to be emphasizing on vandalism of those expansion joints. And besides that one that is on the, just before the roundabout to Ojodu-Baga, there are other expansion joints that are becoming, gaping wide holes. I can count at least 2 as you approach, what's it called now? Arepo on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, on the Long Bridge. Are you ruling out the weight of articulated vehicles and the damage that they do to the roads? Because there's a huge volume of of articulated vehicles that ply this expressway, and indeed other expressways in Lagos?
Of course, you can't rule out that overload and the abuse on the part of the motorist. It's a major factor on that road. It's a major factor. Abuse is a major factor. And then most of these expansion joints we're talking about were not done 2 years ago, just to bring that to your attention. Some of them were done maybe almost 10 years ago, like Kara 1, Aripo 1. The ones that were just recently done were just those two on Long Bridge. Every other ones have been done long ago, almost 10 years now. It's not just a new thing. So, and because of the abuse, the heavy articulated, just like you said, heavily overloaded articulated loads vehicles plying that route. So that is expected to happen. Because most of those loads are overloaded for the carriageway. They are overloaded for the carriageway.
So what intervention is the Ministry of Works providing to managing these bad portions of the road? And we can also add, the turning into OPIC here, those turnings that are used a lot of the times, by motorists. They are in a deplorable state, and the intervention that is being provided is certainly not from the Federal Ministry of Works in terms of management of those, turnings into this portion of the expressway, on the Lagos portion and on the Ogun State portion. These interventions are being provided by the individuals who manage the road. And you find also a lot of articulated vehicles who park on this on that portion of the expressway. So what intervention is the Ministry of Works providing to manage this critical highway, which is really under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Works?
Currently, there's a subsisting contract on that road, and the contractor is there. On Monday, he started the repairs, initiated a program to start the repairs of these defective expansion joints. There are about 12 in numbers that have been identified now between Kara and Magboro. And he has started, but the traffic won't allow, especially the recent accidents. So he had to leave the road for now, coupled with the rainfall. So there's a subsisting contract there. We have 5 pedestrian bridges to be installed, and then the expansion joints to be restored. Then we have all the underpasses to be upgraded, and then thereafter, the ultimate solution the federal government has for that road is to concession it under HDMI, Highway Development Management Initiative, to concession it to a concessionaire who will manage that road, toll it, and then discourage abuse on the road, like parking on the road, doing business along the road, close to the road, in such a way that it's impacting on other motorists negatively. So all that will be stopped in the nearest future, which is very soon now. Once we're done with all the provision of the infrastructure, like the upgrade of the underpass, the contractor is on site as we speak now, and is extending to the Shagam interchange. So once we are done with all that, we'll hand over the road to a concessionaire. So who will be able to face the business of management of that highway, that public infrastructure, on behalf of all Nigerians.
Engineer Keisha, I mean, it does speak to perhaps the fact that sometimes we hear and say that government has no need to do business at all, because it looks like for every business the government handles, there's always a question mark somewhere. I'm concerned because I covered that road. I've done reports and special reports on that particular highway for quite some time now. And I remember that funding for this road, highways, I mean, it took I think, Sukuk funding. It was a lot of money spent here. So in 2 years, and we are back to these defects on the hinges, as you have, alluded to, which we have seen on the Kara Bridge, somewhere on Long Bridge as well. For me, I think there's a question mark somewhere. Even yes, we have. I mean, you knew that these highways would always is the busiest highways expressway, not just in Nigeria but in West Africa, because of the traffic that comes to Lagos and all of that. So the last time we also spoke to you, we mentioned this issue of the medians. It's totally an eyesore, Engineer Keisha, for a project and facility or infrastructure that the government spends so much monies on, to see the medians and see how much of an eyesore it has become. I think it's really, really terrifying. And I don't know, but I believe that partnerships and collaborations should be essential for the ministry. Perhaps it's not your responsibility to ensure that people do not mess the medians up and all of that. Grass is everywhere and all of that. There's water on the medians, and that is not supposed to be. So, and physics and all of that. I mean, we know these things. I mean, it's early in the morning. I don't want to mess the breakfast of many people who are watching us around the world. So, I'm just wondering, perhaps, at what point will the Minister of Works get to do something about the medians? My third question would be that when I saw the plan, when the former Minister of Works, Raji Fashola, was there, there's a plan that somewhere around the Kara Bridge, there's supposed to be an underpass that is supposed to be tarred. That was the original plan when this highway was supposed to be rehabilitated by the Fashola, ministerial leadership. That has not come to be up till now. The underpass there is still there. It's still messy. The rains are here. If you go under that place as well, people have to take the risk of having to turn, around Opik, which is really very risky, Engineer Keisha.
Let me start from your first question. This road was started sometime around 2013. From 2013 till now, that's about 12 years ago, we've started the reconstruction of that road. There is no portion of that road that is unpassable at the moment. That is to tell you that a good job was done. There is no portion of that road that is unpassable. Everywhere is free for you to pass and in good condition. What we have issues with is just the expansion joints. And all over the world, there is need for maintenance even after completion of a road. And government is not shying away from this. We saw that the expansion joints are giving way, and we are attending to it. I don't think we have issues with that. The asphalt on the road everywhere is good and in stable condition. It shows good management during construction. Attention was paid to details. So the expansion joint is not a big issue. And some of them have stayed for almost 10 years. So with the level of service that our highway is offering, it is not out of place. It is when government is negligent of its duty, then you can be saying this. That's number one. Then number two, you're talking about the median. And you mentioned earlier that it is government infrastructure that you see they do anyhow. When private owners or private developers, when they come into it, you see that things are managed better. It's just because everybody has this mentality that anything that is government belongs to nobody.
Oh.
And that mentality needs to be changed. It's not government that said people should go and be defacing the place now. It's not government. It's individuals. So we should, when you see public infrastructure, we should own it. And then you watch people to do it. If we start dealing with one another, when we see somebody abusing public infrastructure, and we say stop it, even before the police arrive, I'm sure they won't do it. But what you see, it's in the open glare like that. If you go on the media now, you just see people defecating there. And you see people look away.
All right.
I think we should all co-own it. We don't wait for government. We don't wait for agencies of government to do that. If you see somebody, like the people that live around that taxis, I love them so much. Once they see somebody trying to remove the solar lights that we did there, you will see them calling. Mrs. Kesha, they are removing the solar lights already. Oh, Minister of Works should do something. Oh, we've told the DPO, Arepo, we've told the DPO this. So, Mrs. Kesha, follow up. And that's why you still see some of those lights standing there. Otherwise, most of them will have gone.
Now that you mentioned lights, we'll leave you to reflect.
And lastly, he mentioned about the U-turn.
I wonder if you're about to...
There's provision for that.
Okay, land on that thought.
Upgrade that U-turn on that car.
When, Mrs. Kesha? When, Mrs. Kesha?
No, where the contractor is working, is starting. The rent, in the rents, you can't do earthworks.
Okay.
You will agree with me that the rents are high, and the same contractor is the one. He's firing on Shagam to Iperu. It's a single contract.
All right.
So it's concentrating on the Shagam Iperu. Part of the contract is pedestrian bridges, 5 numbers, and you can see pedestrian bridges coming up at some locations. At the moment, the contractor is working. So the last one will be to upgrade the underpass. When you award the contract, it does not start and end in the day. There's a project duration.
All right. The collective responsibility point.
We're going to see that come up. And that's why, to manage it effectively, that's why government is considering concessioning, because governments can't do it all.
All right, Engineer Kesha, we must anchor at this point, but leave you to reflect on how important it is for government to also own its own share of responsibility there. Would like to see an upgrade done on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway that measures with what has been done on the Third Mainland Bridge. You talked about lights. There's no lighting on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. It comes on for some time and then it goes off again. And of course, those conflict points, those turnings, OPIC here and to the others that, Kelly mentioned earlier, the underpass, would like to see some responsiveness from the Federal Ministry of Works as well. Kelly.
Government is very responsive. Government is very active. I like to its responsibility, especially under this administration. So work is ongoing. Contractor is on site. And in the next few months, you're going to see transformation there.
Yes, we have to leave it here. We'll continue this conversation with you after the show, Engineer Kesha. Well, Engineer Olukorede Kesha is the Federal Controller of Works. Thank you indeed for your time on the program.
Thank you.
Well, it's the last leg of the program, the morning brief. We're back in just a moment. It's a Friday. Let's get to step down and have some sort of soft conversation. Well, this last leg, we're back in just a moment. Please stay with us.